Holy cow, it's been a minute since I've been in the box or the wall, and let's watch Scream. You know why this is coming out, because I already pre-ordered my ticket for Scream 2022, the live Q&A question on Phantom, but this is the original 1996 Scream. Does it hold up? Does it deserve a number 5 Scream? Let's find out. So Scream, what's it about? It's a very simple premise. You know why it's a very simple premise? Because AKA Wes Craven, rest in peace, is a horror god, has directed so many horror movies, and this is his, take on horror genres in the 80s and the tropes that keep going on and on and on. Because horror was huge in the 80s. Huge. You have Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Halloween, and thousands upon thousands. If you go to Shout Factory and stuff like that, there's tropes. I mean, pickup trucks of random horror movies you probably never even heard of. And you know what? They're on this wall. Randomly on this wall. But what this movie does, it takes the meta-ness of horror movies and put it in this movie. Very Alfred Hitchcock with what they did with Drew Barrymore, because little did you know, if you watch the original Scream trailer from 96, the whole trailer is based on Drew Barrymore, and it looked like Drew Barrymore's type of movie. But little do you know, Drew Barrymore dies in the first 10 minutes of the movie, so people were in the theater probably like, wait a minute, what just happened? So they probably didn't even know what they were getting themselves into in watching this movie, and that is hugely memorable marketing for this type of movie. But overall, does Scream hold up? Absolutely. Even though if you know who the killers are, it's still a complete fun time watching this movie, just them going through different tropes. If you're a huge movie fan, especially a horror fan, you're always going to love this movie just because how meta it is and how perfectly meta it is. Of course, there are a lot of people that break that fourth wall, are like very meta, but you're just like, why are you doing this? But how this is written, Kevin Williamson, I'm pretty sure I'm saying his name correctly, or his name in general correctly, but how he writes it is very smart and very believable of who the killers are and how are these people doing these different tropes, because every trope in here is in the movie and everyone's like, oh, should I do that? Should I do that? Should I do that? And it's like, yep, that's true. That's true too. Kind of like the whole Geico commercial. I'm pretty sure I brought that up a couple weeks ago about the whole girls like, let's hide behind all the chainsaws. Let's go in the cornfield instead of going in the car. So stuff like that. The tropes are there. They're still relevant today, because even in 2021, you watch horror movies and you're like, that's been done a million times. That's been done since the 70s. That's been done. Smart people, smart characters. Please, where are the smart people in movies? And here, they do the smart characters and the smart people in the movies, but of course, they still do the tropes, the stupid people of like, oh, doing that. Like, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? And everything like that. You'll be surprised who's in it. You're like, oh, Jamie Kennedy's in it. You know, David Arquette. Everyone knows that. Courteney Cox and her Friends fame, and Neve Campbell, and everything like that. This movie holds up tremendously. It's a wonderful time. Even 25 years later, 26 years later, this movie holds up. Like I said, I'm excited to rewatch 2, 3, and 4 before me watching the 5th one Thursday night. So fingers crossed that it holds up. But it looks like the 5th one is holding up extremely well. A lot of critics are saying it's a bloody good time. I just hope they don't go in today's day and age in society where there's like, the wokeisms and everything like that. Hopefully they just hold that to the T and they just focus on everything happening in movie theaters as a whole and what the horror genre is doing. Like maybe making fun of Steadicam or shaky cam. I really doubt that. But overall, Scream 1996 holds up. Are there any flaws to this movie? No. This is one of those rare horror movies where you're just like, the writing is pitch perfect. The gore is there, which apparently there's a little bit of an unrated cut. I don't know what the big difference is between this R and the unrated cut. But overall, the tropes are there, and they work perfectly. The acting is completely believable in all of this movie. The killings are bloody good time. It is a blast from start to finish. I don't know how many people don't like this movie just because maybe they don't like it because it's too gory for them or too bloody for them. But if you're a horror fan, if you're a movie fan in general, and you don't like this movie, I don't know what to say because it does everything right. Everything right. So Scream 1996 will receive a 5 out of 5 of Futons. It goes at 100%. So see the critics' news scores gave this one. So have critics and user score at 79%, 82 critics, over 250,000 audience score. Here's critic consensus. Horror icon Wes Craven's subversive deconstruction of the genre is sly, witty, and surprisingly effective as a slasher film itself, even if it's a little too cheeky for some. Too cheeky for some are for people that don't really know a lot about movies in general. If you just know horror movies from the 80s and 70s, you know what Wes Craven and Kevin Williamson is doing for this movie. Like, bar none. If you don't know anything about the horror genre, yes, it might be too cheeky, but if you know movies and know horror films, I don't see how you'd rate this worse than a 90%. I really don't. Gore's still there, the humor's there, and just the fun factor of this is 100% there. And Jamie Kennedy, he's in the second one as well. Like I said, fifth one's coming, so you know what's about to be reviewed this week. Chase Hockey with the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think about Blue Futon Utopia. You Blue Futonians, thanks for watching and have a great day. So what is one of the best and worst, horror trilogy in general? Not trilogy, saga. I mean, you could go with, Friday, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, Final Destination. Actually, I love Final Destination. What are some other weird ones that I'm not thinking about? Let's do a quick check. Actually, I'm just too lazy right now. I'm not really. Scanner Cop? Maybe Scanner Cop? What other? Species? What do we got? National Treasure? Where is the third National Treasure, actually? Good question.